Mr. President, Mr. President.
What is it?
Green Goblin is attacking New York City.
What?
He's causing mass destruction right now. Should we alert Spider-Man?
No! Send $50 billion to Israel right now!
Yeah, I'm wheelchair bound. Wheelchair bound to tell you that my wheelchair is my freedom. Wheelchair bound to convince you that without my wheelchair, I would live a very limited life. Wheelchair bound to ask you to please use the term wheelchair user instead, as it is a much more accurate description. I use my wheelchair to access the world. I use my wheelchair to have fun and to participate. Without my wheelchair, I am bound. When I use my wheelchair, I am free.
Can you stitch this and show me the coolest thing that you own in your collection of things that you like to collect? I'll go first. This is my camera from the 1800s. This is a Kodak #1 pocket folding camera from 1899. These cameras were produced from 1899 to 1915. And you probably have two questions. Number one, why do I own this thing? To which I would say it's cool. But number two, does it function? And the answer is yes. And not only does it function, but it's in surprisingly good condition considering the fact that the leather is over 120 years old. I mean, the viewfinder still works, the shutter speed still works, the aperture still works, everything on this camera works. If you're not familiar with older cameras, you're probably like, whoa, that's really sick, but how does it work? How do you put film in it? And that's a great question. There's two little buttons on the side and it allows you to open up this compartment and the film gets loaded in here. Where does one find film for a camera such as this? Well, it's pretty easy. There are specialty labs that carry the exact type of film that was intended for this camera. However, it's fallen largely out of style and out of production, but that doesn't mean you can't get your hands on it. That just means it's prohibitively expensive for a lot of people, but that's okay because there's an alternative. Adapters like this and this allow you to use more modern film types like 35mm, which you're probably familiar with, and 120 film, which is still in production, adapt them to old cameras. With that said, if you want a more in-depth video on how I shoot with this thing, please let me know. I'd be happy to upload some photos and show you guys some results as well as what it's like to shoot with it. And I'm really excited to see those stitches. I want to see what you guys enjoy collecting.
I went from a size 00 to a 14 and it felt really dysphoric as an autistic person, so let's talk about it. But first, a content warning for weight gain and loss and disordered eating. If these topics aren't for you, you can totally skip this video. Now, what we're not doing here is justifying fat phobia or assigning more value to weights or sizes. All bodies are good and weight is not an accurate indicator of health or wellness. What we are doing here is talking about how weight fluctuations of any kind can be difficult for those with heightened sensory issues. For me, I've had lifelong issues with ARFID due to sensory issues related to autism, which is an eating disorder that significantly limits your diet to only a few foods. I got into some disordered patterns of eating that left me skinny, not healthy, for most of my life, eating the same foods for years, skipping meals if I didn't have it, but yes, fed is still better, friends. And as I've actually been expanding my diet and getting more control over my ARFID as an adult, I eat more food and way more regularly. And to no one's surprise, I gained some weight. I also hit second puberty in my early 20s and my cup size nearly tripled in a month. I could give an hour rant on how that amplified all the sensory issues I had in my body related to movement, in addition to contributing to my gender dysphoria as a non-binary person, but this led me from going size 00 to 14 over the course of 5 years. It was majorly disorienting. The feeling of carrying weight in new places I didn't before was entirely new, and as we all know, autistic folks don't always do well with new things. Suddenly, all of your favorite same clothes don't fit and you don't know what to wear. You feel like you're in a stranger's body and can't get out. It plays into all your insecurities and amplifies internalized fat phobia. But you're not alone in feeling this way. Your body may change, a lot. Give yourself time to adjust. It is still a good body. So be kind to yourself and your body's friends.
You have to hear this. Kroger is rolling out digital price tags that could increase based on how much they think they could get you to pay. I wish I was kidding. Kroger, the multi-billion-dollar grocery conglomerate, has recently begun partnerships with Microsoft and the AI company Intelligence Node to create technologies to better price gouge consumers. Like the big bad wolf of grocery stores. All the better to price gouge you with, my dear. Together, the companies created the electronic shelving label Edge, a digital price tag that employees can change at the press of a button. What's the problem with that, you ask? If it's hot outside, we can raise the price of water, says grocery industry analysts. But that's not even where it gets particularly alarming. Cameras are going to be placed outside these digital displays. So when you go pick your cereal, Facial recognition software could be assessing your age and gender and determining how much you're willing to pay for that cereal based off of your demographics. What makes this all worse is that Kroger is a grocery conglomerate. Kroger is Fred Meyer's, Food for Less, Ralph's, QFC, to name a few. And if the merger with Albertsons goes through, even more grocery stores will become Kroger's, meaning that this technology will be hurting thousands of people across the US.
It's so weird that VIP thinks they're so way too cool to do this.
Yo, how good's Caitlin Clark? She's so good, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah, what?
she's pretty good.
Why you say it like that?
Oh, I don't know. I could probably beat her like one-on-one.
You could not.
I reckon I could.
Are you for serious?
How is that controversial?
She's one of the best basketball players in the world.
I don't mean in like a team situation.
How could you beat her? One-on-one?
I'm 6'5".
You can't dunk or anything.
I don't need a dunk.
Okay, you've only played against guys as tall as her, and you can't even beat any of them.
Most of the guys I play against are like 6'3". They're alright.
That doesn't matter. She's a pro.
I'm bigger. I'd have a chance.
She's a professional basketball player. You don't even play it on any level.
I just have a feeling I'd play well. I think I'd have like some chance.
Mate, she would shoot a three every time she had the ball. Even if you scored under the rim every time, you still wouldn't win. That is true. That is literally true.
Yeah, that's a point. You have got a point.
See?
If we remove the 3-point shot, maybe.
You can't say that. I'd beat Usain Bolt if they took out running.
That's not the same thing.
You're just so full of shit. There's no way in any world you could beat Caitlin Clark.
You don't think I'd get one bucket on her?
You could probably get a bucket, but she'd steal the ball before you even knew what day of the week it was.
That doesn't make any sense.
You couldn't score on her more than once.
Are you kidding me? Height makes such a difference.
Trae Young is 6 foot. Could you beat him?
Trae Young.
See? You're full of shit.
Well, he's quick.
What do you think Caitlin Clark is?
And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
So Trump cultists think that voting for Kamala Harris makes you less of a man. And while I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, I'm certainly going to share my impression of men who vote for Donald Trump. They're men who are so insecure with their masculinity that they have to legally control women so that they can feel powerful. They're completely unfazed by his record of sexual assault because, frankly, that's what they want to get away with. They're sore losers with very, very thin egos who are completely averse to criticism and very easily angered, emotional, desperate, and they only feel confident when they're being led by other men. Look, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I definitely think that the men who are voting for Donald Trump are really making a statement with their vote. Unfortunately, a lot of women are paying attention.
I did not have sexual relations with that man. I'm just kidding. I did. Possibly. Cat's out of the bag.
Turn it off?
Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Are you serious?
Turn it off.
I bet if men actually knew what endometriosis pain felt like, maybe, just maybe, we'd get more research into endometriosis. But here's a mind-blowing statistic for you. In the last few years, startups have invested $1.2 billion into erectile dysfunction. And in the same amount of time, startups have only invested $44 million into endometriosis. So maybe we need more brave men, brave husbands to wear period pain stimulators, crank it all the way up to 10 so they know what endometriosis pain feels like. And maybe then we would have new research into treatments or cures or diagnostics for endo that don't require surgery. But also we need men to help support us and advocate us, or the women's healthcare system is never.
Empanadas with cheese and meat.
This person asked Israelis, what's your favorite Israeli food? And someone said empanadas. Do y'all like steal everything? If someone handed me an empanada and told me it was an Israeli empanada, I'd have to smack. Don't piss me off.
It's so weird that VIP thinks they're so way too cool to do this.
Me masking overt autistic traits. You're not autistic, you're just faking it. Also me, displaying any overt autistic traits. Autistic people aren't even like that. You're being so stereotypical. It's almost as if autism is a spectrum where some folks mask, some don't, where being visibly autistic is okay and not being visibly autistic is okay too, and gatekeeping autism through uninformed opinions actually hurts all of us.
I'm trying extremely hard not to lose my freaking mind.
Hygiene is definitely cultural. If you'd like some proof to support my hypothesis, here you go.
I don't say we avoid bathing, but we bathe very rarely.
Oh my god, I'm so happy that you're talking about this.
Yeah.
She didn't have a bath for like 5 months of her life.
Yeah, like we didn't bathe her for the first whole part of her childhood, and like
I don't wash my hands.
Oh, I was gonna say that too.
I don't care. I'm done. I'm done hiding it.
Oh, why do girls have to wash it? We don't touch nothing.
We don't even touch nothing.
I get when you take a shit, wash. Like if I'm in a public restroom and there's people in the stalls, I will even after I pee go to the sink, wash the water, like pretend run the water, pretend I'm washing my hands.
I remember being told that I didn't need to shower today because we had swam at the lake. I remember being told that shampoo is fine because it runs down, it washes everything.
Wow. I don't wipe my ass, so I do get yeast infections more often than most people. I stopped wiping my ass back in 2020 when COVID happened.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day.
Washcloth.
No washcloth. Washcloth.
Oh no.
What?
I
think it's a. I think it's a.
It's
just different. All hands on.
Do you wash your legs in the shower? No.
No.
I do it if I have like plans.
Legs, bro. I wash my whole body.
Yes, yes, and yes. What kind of question is that?
You have to. So why your legs specific?
Because I find in the white English culture, people say there's no need.
They don't wash their legs?
No.
The only thing as a man that you pay special attention to is this area and the little armpits, and that's.
Give me a minute.
I'm not black. I'm not gonna wash my legs and feet.
You think that's just a black people thing?
Clearly.
God have mercy upon us.
I want to talk about two things. The first being white people hygiene, where I think growing up in a white household and like not really being parented per se in the realm of like taking care of yourself, taking care of your hair, taking care of your skin, like washing your body, like brushing your teeth, like it was never really like taught. It was kind of just like, oh, like you just observe what everybody else is doing, you just like play along rather.
Oh, poor baby.
This is a very cultural debate here. Guys in locker rooms in the NFL used to have this debate all the time. You know, some guys use a bar of soap, some guys use body wash, some guys have to have a rag. You know, like one of those little square rags.
White?
Yeah, all use...
Whites?
You're not clean because the whites don't use a little rag.
How are you cleaning your ass, bro?
With the bar of soap.
Do you use a washcloth?
No, me either.
I think
disgusting.
Am I scrubbing my body with a washcloth?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I know. I think we're.
That is like a UTI waiting to happen.
I think we're in the minority. I really do. No, I think we are.
People use washcloths?
I think so.
It's so weird that VIP thinks they're so way too cool to do this.
Oh no, this can't be.
What's your ethnicity?
My mom is Mexican Native American and my dad is Scottish and English. So it's like if Pocahontas and John Smith had a baby. That'd be me.
Yeah, I love that.
You have a silly.
Hi. I want to take a moment to discuss how harmful this description can be on Indigenous communities, in particular Indigenous women and girls. So Pocahontas, Disney has romanticized the ongoing crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls with the movie Pocahontas. I mean, Disney's version it's not accurate. Pocahontas' real name was Matoka, meaning flower in between two streams. Matoka, she was a 10-year-old girl, and she was kidnapped and captured and held for ransom by the English. Matoka was kidnapped and traded for property to 27-year-old John Rolfe, who abused and sexually assaulted her and took her away from her homelands to England. So Matoka later died at like age 21 in England from smallpox, and she was never returned to her homelands. I guess, like, I'm not trying to come after anybody. I'm not trying to, like, it's just, I want to educate the fact, and me being, like, a big reality, like, TV show watcher, a big fan of it, and, like, hearing there's, like, an Indigenous woman on this show, like, I'm a big fan of Catherine. I love her. Like, she's doing great things for herself, and I'm excited to see her grow and do good work, but I feel like we need to continue to raise more awareness on the missing and murdered Indigenous woman crisis. There should be a more accurate storytelling of Matoka and her story and what happened, but that is what I will say right now. But always want to handle things in a good way. This is who I am. I don't really do talking videos at all. But I just wanted to say that. I know. So have a good day, good evening, wherever you're at. Thank you for watching.
I feel really lesbian whenever I see a girl shredding guitar.
I'm problematic. It's a problem. When I was 17 on Halloween, I dressed up as Aladdin. It's a problem. I did not darken my skin, but still it feels weird in hindsight.
Did you know that a lot of autism-related genes are ancient? And I mean really, really ancient. My name is Dr. Emily Casanova, and I'm a scientist who studies autism. I'm also on the spectrum myself. Now, last year I published a paper in the journal Autism Research exploring the deep evolutionary roots of autism susceptibility genes. Now, you may be wondering what I mean by ancient. While most of the genes in our ancestral genome are pretty old, a whopping 94% of autism genes are more than 400 million years old, and they evolved no later than when early jawed fish were swimming around the ancient oceans. Now, jawed fish are named because they have a bottom jaw, known as a mandible, which helps to support things like predation, but the earliest fishes actually lacked a bottom jaw. There's still a few modern jawless fish hanging around today, like this lamprey with his massive rows of pointy teeth. Anyways, even more fascinating than that, about a third of autism genes radiated or came into being when our vertebrate lineage first evolved around the time of the Great Cambrian Explosion. You may have heard the term Cambrian Explosion. That was a time more than 500 million years ago when a huge variety of weird and wacky creatures popped into existence. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that animals didn't exist before then, but suddenly many animals during that time were evolving into strange forms and toting hard parts like the chitinous exoskeleton you see in modern-day lobsters. So animals with hard parts tend to fossilize more easily, so the fossil record during this time was suddenly booming. While we may think about crazy-looking Cambrian creatures like Anomalocaris or Opabinia, the earliest fishes, aka vertebrates, evolved and were swimming around at this time too. Now, about 1/3 of autism genes evolved in these very early fishes. Okay, so you might be thinking, fish, Who cares? Breaded and with some tartar sauce and chips on the side, they're awesome, but why should I actually care about fish evolution? So I'll let you in on a little secret. Fish were the first and only animals on Earth to evolve a true brain. Like I teach my students in my brain evolution class, a true brain by definition includes a forebrain, a midbrain, and a hindbrain. The fact that you can watch this video and hopefully like, subscribe, and share is all thanks to your fish-based brain. If you look at the central nervous system of a cockroach, true, they have a centralized nervous system that runs along the midline of their body, and they have a collection of neurons in the head region called ganglia, but they don't have a true three-part brain. That's something that's unique to vertebrates, to us. And presumably, the earliest phases of brain evolution share a fundamental connection with autism somehow, probably through the expansion of different types of neurons and regions of the brain that our ancestors have continued to build on over the last 500 million years. Anyways, I plan on exploring this ancient Cambrian explosion of autism genes in another video, getting into the nitty-gritty of how that happened genetically. So please stay tuned for more videos on autism-related science, and thank you, and ciao.
We got daddy issues, chaos junkie. Mommy issues, more daddy issues, obnoxious asshole issues. Then you seem kind of weirdly self-actualized as far as I can tell. Anyway.
Style the whole world. You guys have officially lost your minds. Y'all want the Fashion Olympics. Meanwhile, I don't even know how we got.
Shit like this brings the movement down. Everyone's a feminist until there is a spider around.
Guys, if you saw me walking down the street like this, what would you think? Because I think it's giving editorial, but I feel like I should just not be in Australia with this hairstyle, you know? But guys, look at it. I feel like this deserves to be on a cover, don't you think? And guys, I'm talking about the hair and the makeup, okay? Don't try to humble me. But yeah, I'm gonna tag the hairstylist and the makeup artist because they killed it. And I love how soft the eyes are, because if you know me, I always have like intense black eyeliner, but this is like brown and it looks so nice, especially like contrasted with the hair, which is like, you know, there. I love it. And guys, do you think I should leave the hairstyle how it is, or do you think I should unravel these two pieces and have them hanging like the rest of them? Because I feel like that would look cool as well. Maybe like I'll do 2 days with this and then unravel it, you know? Yeah, I don't want to take it out so soon because look at the artistry, but also I don't want to be walking down the street with all these unwanted stares. But also, who cares? Maybe they're stares of admiration, you know?
Let me tell y'all something. Sorry, I'm like trying not to get emotional. But you know our girl Jules LeBron, very demure. She's now able to afford her transition due to her new viral fame. And like, this is why I love the internet. And the way people get equal opportunities on the internet. Everybody can just be free and do what they want to do and be very demure. Because my baby gets to transit like that. Just, oh, I love it.